Hey guys, welcome. This is my first time, so I don't know what the expectation is. I hope that you can hear me fine. I had to put my reading glasses because the letters on your messages are like tiny, tiny. Can you hear me okay? Anybody? Hello? Me? Oh, okay. Hello? Okay, yeah, okay, great, excellent. I decided to do it inside because, as I said, it's very, very hot outside and very humid. And then, hey, Ralph, bienvenido. ¿Qué pasa? What's up, Jammer Nation? Hey, Simon from, where are you from? Sweden, right? Yep, Sweden. Great. How's the weather in Sweden? Hey, Paul. Hey, Simon. Okay, so I decided to do it inside because I said it's very humid and hot outside. And again, since it is my first time, I wasn't sure about the bandwidth and the signal outside. So again, you can see my studio and my golf memorabilia all over the place. I know that some of you play golf, so. And unfortunately, I know that the guys from Jammer Nation, you asked about possibly meeting in Coco. Unfortunately, actually, we won't get there until probably the second week of July. Yeah, that's a Martin guitar that I've had for about a year or so, and the other one is a Giannini. It's a Brazilian guitar that I had for, man, that's I will say 50 years old, maybe not, well, maybe 45 years old. So I had it for a long time with me, and that has both. Well, this one, the Giannini, has traveled, basically the world with me, has gone everywhere. I first got it back in Venezuela. That's, as you know, that's where I'm from. So that one has been with me for a long time. As I said, that one, the Martin, that's a Macassar Martin Series X that I had for almost a little over a year now. Yeah. Well, again, today I'm celebrating, my wife and I are celebrating 33 years of marriage. You can believe that. 33 years of marriage. So I know that's more years than many of you guys have. Thanks, Simon. Yep. So we were planning to celebrate, we were planning on traveling, but given the situation right now, well, we had to postpone everything. What's a wild story of something that happened to you on your road trips? Wow. Wildest. Man, I have to think about that one because we have traveled so much. Can't think of anything right now. If we talk, maybe something will come up. Yeah, 33 years. Thanks. Yep. 11. That's good too. That's a third of ours. But yeah, 33 years. Wild story. Still thinking about that one. That's a tough one. Hey, Marcos. Thank you. ¿Qué pasa, Marcos? I don't know. I mean, there are so many stories. I don't know if there is one that is specifically wild. No, I can't think of anything right now. That's a good question, though. I think about it. So yeah, and in addition to that, other than me, my 33rd year of marriage, hey, Paul, on Tuesday, which will be my next video, will be my 2nd year anniversary with the AMG. So on Tuesday, to that date, will be exactly 2 years since I basically drove the AMG for the very first time. So I'm gonna have some special going on Tuesday, and there'll be some new mods that I'm gonna be doing. I told you about the lightest star in the grill, and in addition to that, the install or the blackout of the rear lights, and eventually the install of the splitter. But that one is going to be a little bit more challenging for me. What else? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as I said, 33, and probably that's 33 years, and most of you guys are probably younger than that. So you're 33, okay. And married since 2007. That's not bad. That's good. Cool. Never been to Sweden. Been to pretty much every place in Europe, except Sweden and Norway. Been to Finland. Been to Finland and all over the place. In addition to all over the place in Europe, but not Sweden or Norway. Not yet, at least. So yeah, I bought the star, the lightest star. So I'm hoping to install it by Tuesday, and I'm still thinking about the splitter because I'm looking underneath the car to see how the heck am I going to install it, because there aren't too many places to stick it. But Norway has some sick roads. Okay, cool. I know that Finland does too. I've driven around Finland. I've been in Finland during the winter, which is crazy cold. Yeah, the light. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I have to thank again, I don't know if you have visited Flex Alexander's channel. He has a couple of Mercedes-Benzes, and he has done a lot of modifications over the years. Right now, I think he has a C300, I believe. And then he bought an Audi 4. And then his wife also has another, I think it's a C300, and he's doing modifications, and he's very, very mechanically oriented. So he's very comfortable about, doing all those modifications. So, so I'm learning actually from him. I was the 2nd big winner for the show. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got the 2nd. Yeah, you were the closest one, Ralph, to my age, back in April. So yeah, I still have a few of this to give away. So I'll come up with something. Maybe the 2nd anniversary of my car, of the AMG, will be a good time, to give another one of these shirts away. Okay, so I'll come up with something, but you have to watch the video and look for the clue. What was your favorite country to live in or visit? Well, I have only lived in 3 countries basically. I lived obviously here in the U.S., Venezuela until I was a late teenager, and then in Saudi Arabia. So among those 3, obviously the U.S. To me is the best by far, compared to the other 2. Now, in terms of countries that I've been to that I really, really love and have enjoyed, Asia, Far East Asia, Japan. Japan is probably one of my favorites. I've been there 3 times, and we have very good friends there. And every time that we go, we learn something new, and the people are just amazingly nice. So 33 years ago, I was in diapers. Yep. No diapers at the time in DR. Where is DR? Dominican Republic? Is that what it is? DR? Yeah, I wanted to go to Japan. We have friends as well. Yeah, it is uber expensive. We were lucky. Well, the first 2 times. Okay, so Dominican Republic, been there, and I tell you where. But the first 2 times were business related. So my airfare and most of the stay was paid by the company. So I just bought a ticket for my wife, and she joined me there. And then the 2nd time, or the 3rd time, was actually when we were leaving just leaving for good Saudi Arabia, we decided to travel for 2 months. So we went to Asia. We went to, let me see, Japan, then South Korea. We went to China. We went to Vietnam. We went to Singapore. We went to Sri Lanka, and then jump over to Europe, to Italy. And that's where we met our youngest daughter. She was going at the time to boarding school in Switzerland. So we met her there. We spent some time in Italy. Then we took the train to France. So we spent a few days in Paris. Then another train down south to Bordeaux, also in France. And then went back to, and then we went across the channel, took the underground train under the channel between England and France to London, spent a few days there, and then flew to Lisbon, and then back home. So, how big is your family? How many kids? I have two daughters. I have 2 daughters. One that lives in Denver. She works and lives in Denver, even though she's moving back to Florida. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be flying to Denver next week, or no, in 2 weeks, and we're gonna drive back from Denver. So I'm gonna, accompany her across country or cross country to Florida. And then I have a younger one that goes to college. She's a sophomore, basically. Technically, she's a sophomore, second year in college. Yep. So those are the 2 girls that we have. So. Oh, and Dominican Republic. Yes, I've been for business, mostly to Santo Domingo, but I also went to, I think it's called, not Punta Cana, on the southeast part of the island. There's a beautiful golf course there, designed by Pete Dye. It's called Teeth of the Dog. Beautiful golf course. I remember that perfectly. And there's another one associated to this with the same resort. I can't remember the name of it, but I remember Teeth of the Dog is just a beautiful, beautiful golf course. Bordering the Caribbean Sea, and has a beautiful par 3 that from the tee box to the green, there is like I don't know what you call it. I don't know, like a canyon. I don't know. Where the sea comes in, and you have to go over that. Or if you want to play safe, you go to the fairway on a par 3. You go to the fairway and then to the green. So that was an amazing trip. And the food, I love food from the Dominican Republic, which is very similar to food across the Caribbean. If you look at even Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, even the Bahamas. Some of the Bahamas have about the same flavors in terms of food. Lot of fresh fish in that area. So yeah. I don't know who's into golf, but again, how many languages do you understand and speak? Well, I try to speak English, but my mother tongue is obviously Spanish, and I understand. If I spend a couple of days, in Italy, then I start getting my ears used to Italian and can kind of communicate with people, ask basic stuff and understand. If they don't speak too fast, I understand most of it. And a little bit of Portuguese, because again, they're very similar. If you look at Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, they're very similar. They all have the same Latin root, and a tiny bit of French, not much. But again, I can, if I read it, I understand a lot of it. Speaking it is totally different, and obviously trying to understand a French-speaking person is more difficult. But yeah, those are the other ones that I too fluent, and the other ones, here and there, enough to communicate. And Japanese, a little bit of Japanese too. When we were to Japan, again, I was able to, basic basic stuff like ordering food or asking directions and things like that. I was able to understand again if they spoke slowly, basically. So if you're into golf, and you can see some of my memorabilia here. I don't know if you see that. That's Sergio Garcia and myself. This is in a tournament, Volvo Tournament of Champions, and this is in Bahrain, right across from Saudi Arabia. And these 3 pictures here, that's in St. Andrews. I was fortunate enough to go to St. Andrews Golf Course, and those are some of the pictures that I took there. And this one in particular, I don't know if you can see much of it. That's the what's it called, the Sulcan Bridge. Everybody and their dog takes a picture there. Let's see. Do you ever think about getting a BMW? Heck no. If so, will you do a European delivery? Your attention to detail and honesty, I think it would make such an awesome blog. I don't particularly like BMWs. My joke about BMWs is, what do you call a Mercedes-Benz that doesn't pass quality control? BMW. Again, if you own a BMW, I mean, that's just my preference. I don't necessarily like BMWs. If anything, the what is it, 8i, the electric one, I almost got one, but I thought it was very uncomfortable getting into the car. I like the the Golf Wing doors. No, they're not Golf Wing. They open laterally, I think. But it was very, very difficult to get into them, and very expensive. Let me see. Yeah, thanks, Paul. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, the intent. Hopefully, we'll be able, to accomplish that. I don't think that it's going to be this year. I'm looking at the numbers, and to achieve the 4,000 hours, that's going to be so freaking difficult. We have 3,400 subscribers, but basically the guys that are here right now are the ones that participate the most. And I thank you guys. Thanks for that. But of the 3,400, I will say that less than 5% are actually much less than 5% are active as subscribers and commenting on the videos and being active. So, can you do weekly live streams? I don't know. I guess that I could, but I don't know what the material is other than answering back and forth the questions. Before that, I don't know. Do you know, does Mercedes? Yes, they offer European delivery, because that's one of the things that I was considering. As you know, I have a CLS 500, and when I was purchasing that, and this is like way long time ago, what was it, 2006, I was thinking about European delivery, and it's actually a good offer. I mean, you pay a little bit less, including, even if you include the delivery to the States, but you have to coordinate it well. I mean, you have to go there, and if you're gonna take advantage of the trip, drive the thing, whatever, at least 15 days to a month. So we thought about it. I haven't thought about it yet. If I ever decide to change the AMG, to replace the AMG, which I may, but I'm not sure yet. I mean, I like the car so much, and compared to other cars that I've had in the past, and on the 23rd, you'll see a little bit more of the cars that I've had in the past. This one, performance-wise, comfort, performance, looks, everything. It's just an amazing car. I mean, I love it more than any of the other cars that I had in the past. And as I said, you'll see some of them posted on the 23rd, which is on Tuesday. Hi, Murad, I believe. What's that? Salam alaikum from to Murad, because I believe that you speak Arabic. Have you ever went to? Oh yes. Hey Grace. Yes, I've been to LA several times. Not my preferred city because I think it's very crowded. Um, it's like New York. I like New York, but I don't like to. I wouldn't like to live in New York. Um, Alaikum salam. Yeah, thank you. Shukran. um, oh, and I forgot you asking about languages. So Arabic, a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit. Again, just to say hello and how are you, how's the family, and things like that. So a little bit. Um, so LA, yeah, I like to visit LA. Been there with my family. We went there and we did the touristic stuff. Going to the hills, Beverly Hills, and Hollywood, and the Chinese theater. And at the time, I think this is what they call that theater where they had the Oscars. And I took my mom there to see. I mean, this is a long time ago. This is before. This is prior to my daughter. So this is 28, 29 years ago. Took my mother to see Phantom of the Opera with the original cast of Phantom of the Opera. So, Shui Shui, yes, Shui Shui. Say hello there. Glad to see you, Gabriel. Gabriel Navarro. That's where are you from, Gabriel? Where are you logging in from? I was back in 2004. They were protesting the military. Oh, in 2004. Is that the Rodney King thing? Maybe. I don't remember. Since you review on the Honda vehicles, have any of your opinions changed on them? And what about your likes and dislikes? The Hondas. I love Hondas. That is one of the cars that my wife is still considering. Is the electric, not the electric, the hybrid SUV, which, by the way, is not yet available here in Florida. It's available in California. We actually thought about, well, why don't we fly to California, drive back with the car? So yeah, I like the Hondas. The Honda Civic is a sick car. I mean, for what it is, the quality, the price, the comfort. The Honda Civic is a nice, very nice car. Um, and then if you go and that, I think now as an exotic, used to be Acura NSX, but I think now they have relabeled it now Honda NSX, and that's a sick car. I've seen only one here in Fort Myers. I've seen only one. Actually, I've seen only one on the road. So, but I haven't changed my opinion about Hondas. It's a very, very sturdy car, very dependable. It's a very dependable car, I think. And I think that you can get a better offer right now with Honda than Toyota. We went to Toyota. My wife was also considering the RAV4, the hybrid, and it was amazing. Toyota is not offering anything with regards to good financing or better pricing, or it's basically sticker price, and that's basically it. So we were very disappointed with Toyota. We had a Toyota before. We had a Toyota 4Runner a long time ago, and my wife loved that car, and that car got to 100,000 plus miles, and she just loved it. Okay. Okay. So you were in uniform. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah. Spanish in the UK at the minute. Okay, got it. Okay, so you're Spanish and you're in the UK. Cool. Been to Spain several times. Love Spain, love southern Spain. Love Marbella, what's the other one? God, forget all the names. Well, Madrid, I love Madrid. Sevilla, been to Gibraltar, even though that's in Spain, but belongs, I think, to the UK. Been to Valencia. What else? God, I can remember. Benavides, which is a small town, kind of in the mountains, just north of, I think, it's Marbella. Well, yeah, I love Spain. I love the Spanish food. So, Alex built one and was in it over 100K. What? In California, it's known as Acura. Okay. And there's a story about why Honda made the name Acura. You should make a video about it. Okay, that's a well. I think that the similarity is between Honda and Acura is very similar to Toyota and Lexus. So they wanted a higher up brand, within the same company. It's like Hyundai owns Kia, same thing. Yeah, and then as I said, Toyota owns Lexus. So I think that the similarity or the relationship between Honda and Acura is about the same. With Honda wanted a higher end line of cars on the Acuras, but I think that the one that I saw, the NSX, at least here in Florida, had a Honda label on it or an emblem. So yeah, Seville is I like Seville and Cordova, and the other place where the Alhambra is. What is it? I can't remember all the names right now. They escape. Love Barcelona, Tarragona, just I guess southwest of Barcelona. But Barcelona is a lovely place. I love it there. Went there several times because one of the companies I used to work with had an operation just outside Barcelona, actually in Tarragona, and I love that area there. Nissan and exactly, yeah, Nissan and Infinity. Nissan, the regular whatever, and then Infinity, the higher up brand of that. Hey Gabriel, I was born. Oh, you were. So you're British. You didn't know that. Cool. Yeah, I've been to the UK again, all over the UK and Scotland. One of my favorite places. I love Scotland. It's such a beautiful place. Such nice people. If you're into whiskey, well, that's Scotch. That's the place to go. But the countryside in Scotland is just beautiful. Yeah. And wife is from Venezuela. Yeah, you told me that. Yeah, Caracas, I think. My wife is from Caracas, also from Venezuela, same as I. But we met here. We met in the U.S. And Venezuela, beautiful country. Unfortunate what has been going on for the past 16 years. It's just terrible. And unfortunately, we still have family there. Mostly my wife. She has family there, and it's tough. It is very tough. If you're not involved with the so-called government, it's tough for those people. Only in the U.S. do people complain about who makes certain vehicles. Okay. Yes, same. Yep. So your wife's mother and father. They met here in the States. Okay, right, cool. We have family on both sides, yeah. But probably you haven't been in Venezuela for a while, I would assume, because it's not very safe. I think that the last time that I was there, I would say 6, maybe 8 years ago. My wife was there a couple of years ago because her mom was not in very good health. So she went there. Okay, been there. Live in Northampton. Hunter than my wheels, yep. Okay, so she went in 08. Yeah. No, I think my wife went in, I think it was 16 or 17. 17. I think it was 7. No. Sorry. The end of 18. The end of 19. She went in the end of 19. Yes. The end of 19 and spent a couple of months there, basically with her mom. If you were in an area where you have fans, would you do a meet up with them? Sure. Maybe 2 people will show up. Basically, because you guys are all over the place, and with 3,000 or so subscribers, it's not like there are concentrations of people all over the place. You have Raphael, who's in LA. Simon in Norway, Sweden. Then you're in the UK. Jammer Nation is in Georgia. Some people in New York. I don't think anybody's here in Florida. I think there's one here somewhere in Florida. So it's difficult. I mean, I would love to, We love to meet with people, but that's maybe more into way in the future when we have a very strong base of subscribers, meaning a strong base, a lot of subscribers, and the channel becomes again more of a reality and starts hopefully giving cars away. So Cocoa Beach, yeah, I used to live just south of Cocoa Beach in Melbourne. I went to college in Melbourne, so I was there for about 40 years. What is a hotspot for fun in Florida? Man, right now, nowhere. Or actually everywhere. As you may have heard, Florida now is the hottest spot for coronavirus. I think they reported 3,800 new cases yesterday. That's the biggest in a long time. So, but South Beach is probably where everybody wants to go. We're here in Florida. That's the trendiest hippier, hipster place to go. Beautiful. I mean, great restaurants. Very expensive, some of them. Some small, nice hotels, Art Deco hotels. So that's South Beach is probably the one that, again, when people think about Florida, other than Orlando, because Orlando is, for the parks, you got Disney and Universal and what else, MGM, I think. I don't know. I haven't been to Orlando, the parks, in a long, long time. So, in Broward, okay, you're in Broward. Okay, I used to live in Broward. I used to live in Coral Springs. And I have a sister that lives in Broward County. Yep. Let's hope we win a car. I'll come to pick up. Yeah. Yeah. I hope so. Nowhere it is hot in yes. Yeah. Grew up in Orlando. Okay. Yeah, super busy. I don't like Orlando either. My wife used to work in Orlando. And again, very, very crowded, especially, and there is no particular season in Orlando. It's like, well, other than the exception right now, Orlando is busy year round, basically. So where you go in the summer or in the winter or the spring, it's always busy. Coffee or tea? Well, I only like one kind of coffee, and that's a mochaccino. So it's a very not strong coffee with basically chocolate. I probably would drink more tea than I would drink more coffee. I have coffee maybe 3 times a week in the morning, and that has to be, like I said, a mochaccino, and I make my own. So I'm not necessarily a big coffee drinker. When I go to Europe, it's mostly cappuccinos. We're in Latin America, mostly cappuccinos. I don't like black coffee. So yeah, Orlando, yeah, year round. No matter where you go, when you go, is crowded. I haven't been there lately, so I don't know. How has this affected? Because obviously Disney, and well, not only Disney but Universal also have been closed, and most of the attractions have been closed. I know they have planning to reopen. I don't think Disney has reopened yet. I know that they were planning on reopening. I think it was maybe the 27th of June. I don't know if they have opened yet, but yes, obviously that has had an effect on Orlando and all the businesses there. Gringo living in Colombia. Been to Colombia too. Whereabouts in Colombia? I've been to obviously Bogota. I've been to Cartagena. I've been to Cucuta. I've been to Medellin. I've been to the mountains of Pereira. So all over the place. Oh. Yeah. Colombia is a beautiful, beautiful country, and again, beautiful people there. Locally, all the issues that they have with the what is it? What do they call the falc? I think. The gorillas. They're gone for the most part. Was he updated on the other Mercedes you own? Is it running again? Yeah, it is running. That's obviously the one that we're planning on either trading or just selling outright. The last service was changing the transmission fluid and the gasket associated with the transmission container, whatever you call it. But it's running fine. I mean, I was disappointed when I took it to Mercedes because I'm even wondering whether what we did with the changing of the transmission fluid and the gasket and there's an electronic sensor, I think, whether it was needed or not, because they told me also that the power steering container, the pump, was leaking, and that the belt was soaked in steering fluid, power steering fluid. And I took it to my friend. I have a very good friend on the East Coast. He's a mechanic. He's a mechanical engineer, but he's an awesome mechanic. And he gave me first, a few hints what to do in order to determine whether the power steering pump was leaking or not. So I followed those hints, and neither the belt was soaking wet with power steering fluid. And after I applied a degreaser several times and drove the car around, there were no leaks. And then he inspected it and he said, nope, the power steering pump has no leaks. There was a leak, or there is a leak, but not associated with the power steering. It's associated with the oil pump. And he said, it's a very, very minor leak. So it's not affecting the performance of the car, nor do I have to put, a quart of oil every other day or every other week. So it's running fine, So Medellin, yeah, it's safe. Now it's safe. You didn't. Well, actually, when I went, we still had the issues with the drug cartels in Medellin, but I was with locals and didn't feel unsafe. One story, though, you were talking about crazy stories or crazy experiences. This is work-related. I was in Bogota, actually. I was working with a pharmaceutical company as a consultant. I was a consultant to them. And we went there to one of their facilities, manufacturing facilities. And it wasn't until probably the second day that I realized they were picking us up on a van. There were two, a driver and a second person. It wasn't until the second day that I realized that both of those people were carrying guns. One actually had a 9mm and the other one had an Uzi underneath his jacket. And so, again, this is back in the probably early 2000s or so. So, talking about crazy experiences. And we experienced the same. One of my friends used to work with the DEA, Drug Enforcement Agency, and we went together on a trip to Egypt. And while we were traveling in Egypt, he basically contacted his contacts in Egypt. And we were escorted everywhere, pretty much that we went. And in one of those locations, one of those towns, I think it was mainly in Cairo, may have been another one. Oh, again, we had armed bodyguards, and that's because of him, not because of me. So, but that was also a crazy thing because I didn't find out until probably again 2 or 3 days later. If you're ever near us, will you gladly help in the autos? Yep. What part of the world have you not visited? Australia, New Zealand. I've been to every single continent, but not Australia or New Zealand. I would love to go there. Very much looking forward to eventually go to Australia and New Zealand. If you go to one, you have to go to the other one because they're very close to each other. What else? Yeah, that is unfortunate about Mercedes. That made me just think again, I'm not going to take my car, either car, to Mercedes again because I think they were trying. I mean, they were very slow, but that's not an excuse to, again, try to tell you something that wasn't there, Had it been most likely, and I'm not being sexist or anything, misogynist. Had it been a woman that doesn't know much about mechanics, and not that I know much about mechanics, she probably would have said, "Yeah, go ahead and do it," and she would have been $1,400, out of pocket. So, What would you choose? Never to play golf again or never to drive a car again? Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Well, that's a tough one. Probably golf. Probably golf. I will give up golf rather than not drive again ever. So, I mean, I enjoy driving. I mean, I've gone cross country from here to Boston, from here to Texas. Now we're going from Denver, to Florida. We'd love to do we were planning to do Florida to California or California to Florida. I like, and in Europe, we drove all over the place. And I love to drive in Europe. My first experience with the Autobahn in Germany was amazing. And I happened to be driving a Mercedes that I rented. And I mean, I'm going, to my standards, extremely fast. I'm going like 120 miles per hour, 130 miles per hour. And I think I'm going, very, very fast. And all of a sudden I get a Ferrari, blinking his lights, get out of the way, you're a cow in the middle of the road, get out of the way. And then he goes, shoom. So it's probably going, I don't know, 180. I don't like to drive fast though. I mean, I enjoy it, but don't do it anymore that much. Always choose, yeah. I feel that way after the second hole. Yeah, sometimes I do too. Me too. I never played it. You have to play it. It's a fun game. It's a fun. I mean, you play against yourself most of the time. So I've been fortunate to be in competitions. I have a few trophies, and as I said, I'm crazy about golf. I try to play every week. I live in a community that has 2 golf courses, but in addition to that, within 15 minutes, I have 4 more golf courses. So I like to go all over the place. And this time of the year is when I play the most because it's cheap. During the season, a golf course that usually in the summer charges $40, in the season is 120. And one that is down here, down south, is a beautiful golf course. No houses around that golf course at all. Beautiful, designed by Jack Nicklaus, not Nicklaus Designs, but Jack Nicklaus himself. That in the season runs 180 to 200. In the off season, 60 to 80. So that's my kind of stuff, or my kind of spends. No golf in my resume. Yep. And I really outside of Medellin. Yep. Love Medellin. Yep. Yes, so trolls, if you far south, you can get cruise Antarctica. Oh yeah, well, from where? Antarctica? Well, from Argentina. Yeah, Argentina has cruises that go to Antarctica, and actually from Brazil, you can also get to not from Rio, from outside Sao Paulo. Even though Sao Paulo is inland, but you go to the coast and you can go to Antarctica. I've been to not to Antarctica, but Tierra del Fuego, the southern tip of Chile and Argentina, and you can actually see the penguins. The only place where you can see the penguins, Antarctica. Love driving. Yep, Mercedes on the Autobahn. Yep, I drove that, and I drove also a Alfa Romeo Giulia. That again, amazing car. Love that car too. Never felt threatened living here. No, Hollywood loves to paint this. I said, yep, right, Medellin. I think that way back when, I'm talking again, maybe the 90s, may not have been the most safe place, because at that time, just outside Medellin or in Medellin itself, what was his name? The big drug cartel. He got killed in Medellin, I believe. Can't remember his name, but it wasn't as safe because there were a lot of bombs and shootings during the day, mostly against police or the military or politicians. So at that time, back in the 90s, it wasn't very safe. At what age did you learn to drive? 17 in Venezuela. I learned to drive in Venezuela. It's an interesting kind of an interesting story. I was taking my drive test with a stick shift. And obviously, the guy who was doing the test, takes me to a hill, right? And I'm having issues, shifting. He says, "Okay, stop the car and then shift and get it to go." And I just couldn't. I just couldn't do it. So obviously, I failed. He said, "Come back later." And actually, I argue with him. Had I come with an automatic, this wouldn't have been an issue. Okay, so why are you going to fail me just because I brought a stick shift? But so that's another anecdote, kind of embarrassing, but hey, heck. Not my 22-hour drive from UK to Spain. Yep. My CLK stops only when the pipes are red. Yep. That should be a nice drive from the UK to Spain. I don't know that I've driven that. I mean, I driven all over the place, but not necessarily far distances. I've taken a lot of trains instead. I don't know. What about Australia? When you play your guitars, what do you play? Mostly blues, and just I love like sticks. I'm trying to learn right now Boat on the River. So I know the first few chords, but I'm trying to learn the other chords. My daughter, the oldest daughter, my youngest, plays a ukulele. She's very good at it, and she has an amazing voice. And then my oldest plays the guitar, she plays the piano, she plays the drums. She sings also very well, but on the guitar, she's very special. I mean, she's very good in the guitar, so I try to learn from her. So hopefully now that she's going to be in Florida, we'll be able to jam more often. What else? What is your land? Okay. Australia, where you play? Have you ever been on a plane? Yeah, many times. Like I said, I travel. Yeah, Pablo Escobar. Yeah, that's the guy. I think he died in the 90s, if I remember correctly, and I think he was gunned down. And I think it was in Medellin. Maybe wrong, but yeah, in a plane. Yes, from Rinky Dinky. What is it? Jumpers, whatever. I can't remember what the term is. Puddle jumpers, I think, to 747s, and all over from fortunate enough to be able to travel not only economy but business and first class, mostly business and first class because of business, not because I paid or because I accumulated enough mileage or points. So I was able to do it, through that. I don't think I have ever paid myself a business class ticket or a first class ticket. It's either a client, a company, which could be a client, or 2 points. Yep. Yeah, it was very violent at one time. Yep. Cool. Yep. On the rooftops. Yeah, I think so. Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't there a movie related to that? Yep. Can you shout out my Instagram and get people to follow me? Insta. Sure, I can do that. Let me just write it down. Murad Motors. Yep. Where are you at? Murad Motors. My business account. Okay. You like movies? And if so, what is your favorite movie? Ooh, I like movies. Which is my favorite movie? I like The Godfather, the first one, only the first one. I like one that not many people are familiar with. It was with Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren. It's called El Cid, C-I-D. And it's a story of, can't remember the real name of the person, but he fought the Muslims that were invading Spain, southern Spain. He was a noble in Spain, Rodrigo something, I can't remember, but he was known by El Cid. Given by El Cid is I believe has a Arabic root. So he was known by them as El Cid. And it's a long movie. I think it's almost 3 hours, if not more. And it's very, very old. I think it's back in the 60s. But if you get a chance to see it, I think Charlton Heston and Sophia Loren, and it's called L.E.L. Cid, C-I-D. So that's a very good movie. Have you read a ton of books on it? Have you read a ton of books on it? On what? I'm sorry, I lost the train. Okay. Canada. Okay. Yep. No problem. Canada. Been to Canada. Love Canada too. Have family in Vancouver, and been to Montreal, to Toronto, to Medicine Hat, to Calgary. Done skiing there in Whistler. I've been whitewater rafting just outside Toronto, I believe. Beautiful. Canada's just beautiful. Car question. Throughout all the car you wish, the car that you wish you never sold, that I never sold, but I would have kept. Probably the TDF, but that was too expensive. So that's mostly a business issue, a business deal. It wasn't a car that I could have. I guess I could have afforded it, but it's just too expensive. But I got an opportunity, but that one, the TDF, would probably be the one. F1, the F12 TDF. That's probably the only one. I mean, the other ones. I mean, I love Corvettes. I had a Corvette, a C5, and I love that car. And way back when, I also love that car, and that's one of my. I think it was my second car. Was a Mitsubishi 3000 GTSL. Beautiful color, and like a teal blue with a black and white interior. That was a beautiful car. It looked almost like a Ferrari. I love that car. But not only was I married, but we were expecting our first kid, and that's not a car for a family. So I traded that in for a Lexus and got a family car. What was your first car? My first car was a Nissan 300ZX twin turbo. Love that car too. But I had it for, I kept that car for probably 8 years. Not quite 100,000 miles, but I sold it. And I remember to a student who was going to Florida State University up in Tallahassee. I remember that day perfectly. I sold it to him. And I think from that car, then I went, I believe, to the Mitsubishi, my second car. And I loved both cars. I love. Is it scary to be on a plane? No, I don't think so. I guess you haven't been on a plane? No, I not nowadays. I think it's more scary to be in a car. Statistically speaking, you can die in a car, more often. Well, not you personally can die in a car often, but there are more accidents in a car than on airplanes. So, yeah, the 3000 GT. Yeah, I love that car. Are you going to get the C8? The C8? What is the C8? Not sure about that. What is the C8? Thinking about it. They had no room in the back. Yeah, no room. But it was a lovely car, though. I mean, it was a lovely car. Especially the color combination that I had. That was amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of that car. Well, and I was also a 990 LHD 300ZX. Yep. Yeah, the 300ZX was great because it was the first time that I saw the the instrument panel was all electronics. So the tachometer was bars, and obviously the speedometer was the numbers, and that was an amazing car. What's the update on the splitter? I finished. The front side I finished, and then just a few days ago, maybe a couple of days ago, I finished on the right, winglet of the splitter. I'm just hesitating about the installation because I took a look underneath the car, and there aren't that many places where I can actually attach it to, whether I use screws or whether I use the tape. The recommended installation is use the double-sided tape first, hold it, and then screw it. But I need to basically identify exactly where the locations to screw the winglets and the front side of the splitter are, so they are safely mounted. So I need to do more research on that one. Oh, the C8. I'm sorry, the C8. Now I'm okay. The Corvette. Yes. Am I thinking about? No, probably not. I think that everybody and their dog is going to have one. When eventually they resume, I think, production. I think they had to halt the production because of the issues with COVID. I know another anecdote regarding the C8, not with me, but apparently somebody in this neighborhood. He bought a brand new C8, got it delivered, and then he was taking it for the first time to do whatever oil change and whatever. So they put it on the lift. They were lifting the car, but the lifting of that car is different than the C7, the C6, the C5. So the car fell off the lift, and basically they ruined the car. So I think he ended up talking to Chevrolet, and Chevrolet agreed to give him a C8 Z06 in compensation. So they took the other car and they gave, or are in the process, I guess, of giving him a Z06 C8. So Tomato one, try to put a splitter for your Mercedes together by yourself. Well, I don't know. I mean, I have the time, as you know, or may not. I'm retired, so I have plenty of time in my hands, even though I keep very busy, not only with this. It's more like a hobby right now. Hopefully, as I said, it will catch up, and I'll be even more involved with it. If it starts dying down, well, what will happen? The channel will be history. But I had the time, and I thought it was an interesting project. I looked at splitters, and a reasonably priced, good-looking splitter, carbon fiber, is $400, $500. And then I learned that you can actually do wrap with carbon fiber cloth, which is basically carbon fiber. Wrap it, and then use the epoxy and the hardener and the resin, and epoxy the thing, and it looks just like one that has been manufactured. So I decided to do it that way, just again because of the time, and it was a nice project. Would I do it again? No, probably not. The only thing that I'm planning or considering doing right now is the front emblem of the car that is on the hood, the Mercedes emblem. I may carbon fiber cover that, but I'm not sure yet. I need to take a closer look at the emblem itself to see if it will totally cover it, or whether the Mercedes logo, not the logo, but since it is raised, whether it will appear through the carbon fiber. I'm not sure yet. So that's one thing that I may do. I'm not sure yet. What is the most anticipated? That is, the C8, yes. Totally different. I haven't seen too many driving around. I think I've only seen one. I've talked to there's a Chevrolet dealership here, and I wanted to go and see one. Nope, they don't have one. They are taking orders. So my dream car. Wow, I love Mercedes, and the GT, the AMG GT, is probably the closest to my dream car. Unless you start looking at concept cars that are coming up, potentially 2021, 2022. There are some concept cars where the manufacturers are saying that they'll be in production, and they look dope. I mean, they're amazing cars. I would love to see the can't remember the acronym. It's a Mercedes-Benz. I think it's the AVTR. They call it Avatar. That I don't think that's going to be in production for 10 years or so, but that's an amazing looking car. Teslas, I would consider a Tesla. I actually almost bought the S class Tesla, but I wasn't totally convinced with the company itself at the time, because if you saw the stock was all over the place, and Tesla as a company hasn't made a dime yet. So you're thinking about the longevity of that company. Now it's more stable, and now they have, obviously, through the same owner, SpaceX. They're associated, so I think it has a future now. The Hellcat, yeah, I like the performance of the Hellcat. I don't like the body style of the Hellcat. I think they could have done a much better job on the styling of the Hellcat, because it hasn't changed much from the base of that car. Holland, Alexander from Holland, welcome, Alexander. So now Holland, wow, it's an international group now. So we have Sweden, Holland, Spain, well, through the UK, California, where else? Georgia through Cocoa Beach, Broward County. You got to go Mercedes Avatar. It's a if it ever comes to production, I think that's going to be easily 300,000 plus. I was looking at the top 15, I guess, concept cars just lately, and it was interesting. The guy who's doing the narration was talking about one in particular. I can't remember the model. I think it was an Audi, but I can't remember exactly. And then he says, and the entry price will be $300,000, which is very affordable. It's like, to whom? $300,000 as a car. I mean, that's a house. Got to see the Tesla. Yeah, Teslas are nice. I haven't seen the Y yet. I don't know if they're in production yet. I think they're going to be in production by next year. I've seen the S, the 3, the S, the 3, and the X, obviously, but not the Y yet. The letters. Yep, he did that on purpose. Yep. Orlando. Okay, welcome. Anish, that sounds maybe from ethnically India, maybe. Hello everyone. Sorry about my English. It's bad, but I'll try my best. I understood that. It can be as bad as mine, or worse, much worse than mine. yeah, exactly. Very affordable at 300,000. Yep, very, very affordable. And they are delivering the Y already. I don't think so. I think they're taking orders. I think that you can reserve one, but I don't think that. Well, I may be wrong. I don't know. I thought they were just taking orders and planning delivery for later this year, beginning 2021. But again, I may be wrong. Okay, guys. It's been about an hour. You want to spend a few more minutes, or should we call it for the day? I know it's a Saturday and people have plans. I don't have any plans in particular other than celebrating with my wife our 33rd wedding anniversary. So we're gonna go out and buy some bubbly, and for dinner we're gonna buy pizza, Chicago style pizza. That's what my daughter decided to do for a celebration. So we'll definitely, I hope, do this again. One thing I wasn't sure is the timing, Saturday, 2 p.m. And give me your feedback, whether it's better on a Saturday this time. Weekdays, I think most people work, and if I do it at night, then I may lose the people from Europe that may want to participate. So thank you, Roy. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. Thanks, Grace. Thanks for the congratulations. Port Canaveral, yes, that's a nice area to be to. Hopefully, I don't know how long you're going to be there, and I don't know there's any launches right now, but that's a great area to see the launches. I mean, I was fortunate enough way back when to see the very first space shuttle takeoff. I was still in college, graduating. I was my last year in college, so that's 1980, and I was able to see the very first space shuttle going out. Okay, so let me know in your comments, or you send me an email, post a comment, whatever. And Monday is a launch. Great. I mean, you go there. It's a great experience to have, to see it. Let me know. Have you got into an accident in a car? I haven't. I've been fortunate enough not to have any car accidents. Well, no, well, we're running over. 5 more minutes. I was driving from Gainesville, Florida, to Miami, and this is on my 300ZX, the Nissan. And fortunately enough, I was down on the turnpike. Fortunately enough, nobody was on the road because I hydroplaned. I changed lanes and then hydroplaned, and then went towards the median. I hit the median, did a 360, and ended up on the other side of the road on the grass. So so that was scary, to tell you the truth. I mean, had it been more cars coming behind me, or God forbid, an 18-wheeler, I would have been history. Interestingly, too, also is as I spun and went to the other side, a guy from the other lanes, from the other side of the highway, came across the turnpike with a fire extinguisher and also asked me, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was still in shock, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine." And then obviously the car, all from the headlight to the rear light, it's like a can opener. It was, all the way through on that side, open by the median, which was the steel or iron or whatever it is. So I was hit twice by the same drunk driver. He backed up and hit me again. Wow, that sucks. My kick was totally for my years. That's too bad. Yeah, well, I've been fortunate. As I said, the other accidents have been mostly standing. In my previous house on the East Coast, Nice, I had a gravity bicycle rack. So it's not nailed or anything like that, it's gravity. And she was small, and she pulled the bicycle, and the bicycles were right in front of my car, fell on top of the hood. And not only then that it just went through the hood, the pedal just went through the hood. So, and the other ones were my wife, actually. Somebody backed, pulling out of a parking lot or a parking space, backed into her, and then was complaining that what was she doing there? So, but he lost it anyway. My kids was totally informed. Yep. A wonderful day. Enjoy your anniversary, and hopefully you do a live stream again soon. Thank you, Paul. Yes, we'll do that. And yes, we'll call it a wrap. Thanks for everybody that showed up. This is great, and you know why? Because we spent about an hour and 12 minutes, and with the amount of people that showed up, that's 1 hour per person that counts to the 4,000 hours that we need. Okay. So again, thanks a lot, and we'll do another one sometime in the future. Okay, so thanks for showing up. Thank you. Take care. Oh, and if you're a father, happy Father's Day tomorrow. Okay, take care. Peace. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day. Bye-bye. Fool you. Haven't left yet. Take care. Happy Father's Day. Enjoy your weekend. And Tuesday, I'll have a video on the install of the star and more anecdotes of the Salam. Thank you. And what? Oh, more anecdotes about my previous cars and more about the AMG and my 2 years of experience with this car. So, yep. So we'll see you. Take care. Bye, Raf. Thanks for the happy Father's Day. Thank you. Take care.